Good day everyone! Today I'll be talking about resultant velocity, an important concept in physics that helps us understand how objects move more than one motion happens at the same time. The resultant velocity of an object is the single net velocity obtained by combining two or more separate velocity vectors. It is calculated by adding the vectors and represent the object's current speed and direction relative to a stationary point. It is the total or overall velocity of an object when two or more velocity vectors act on it at the same time. In simple terms, it tells us the actual speed and direction of an object after combining all different movements affecting it. These are the importance of learning resultant velocity. First, helps in navigation. Pilots, sailors, and drivers use it to know their true direction and speed, especially when wind or water currents affect their movement. Second, important in physics and engineering. It helps us study how things move when more than one force or velocity affects them. Third one is used for safety and design. Engineers use it to make vehicles, airplanes, and ships safer and able to handle strong winds or waves. Lastly, make calculation more accurate. Knowing the resultant velocity helps predict exactly how fast something will move. So now, I'll be explaining an application involving a concept of resultant velocity, specifically a person walking on an escalator that moves in opposite direction. So now, let us understand the situation. Imagine a person walking upward on an escalator. Normally, if the escalator moves in the same direction as the person, they would reach the top faster because both their walking speed and the escalator speed add up. However, in this problem, the situation is different. The escalator is moving downward while the person is trying to walk upward. This means the motion of the escalator opposes the motion of a person. As a result, the person's actual or resultant velocity will be less than their walking speed. Let's list all the given quantities from the problem. So first, walking speed is equal to 1.5 meters per second. So the escalator speed is equal to negative 0.7 meter per second. The length of the escalator is 12 meters, and the negative sign is very important here because it shows the escalator's motion is opposite to the person's movement. This will affect the total of resultant velocity. There are two unknowns that we need to solve. The first one is the resultant velocity is the actual speed of a person relative to the ground. The second one is the time to reach the top and how long it takes for the person to get onto the top of the escalator. For the solution part, the first one is we need to find the resultant velocity. The formula for resultant velocity when two velocities act in opposite direction is resultant velocity is equal to walking velocity plus escalator velocity. Since the escalator is moving downward, its velocity is negative. Substituting the given values, which are the velocity resultant is equal to 1.5 plus negative 0.7. The velocity resultant is equal to 0.8 meter per second. So the resultant velocity of the person is 0.8 meters per second upward. This means that although the person is walking at 1.5 meter per second, the downward motion of the escalator slows them down. Therefore, their actual upward speed, as seen from a stationary observer, is only 0.8 meter per second. The second one is finding the time to reach the top. So next, we calculate the time it takes for the person to reach the top of the escalator using the formula. T is equal to L over resultant velocity, where L is the total distance or length of the escalator and VR is the resultant velocity. Substitute the known values, which are 12 over 0.8 is equal to 15 seconds. This means it will take the person 15 seconds to reach the top of the escalator. To understand this result more deeply, think of it this way. The person's walking speed is their own effort to move upward. Meanwhile, the escalator is moving downward, opposing the effort because of his position. the effective of resultant speed becomes slower than the walking speed alone. If the escalator had been turned off, the person would have reached the top faster, specifically in 12 over 1.5 is equal to 8 seconds. But since the escalator is moving down at 0.7 meter per second, it doubles the time to 15 seconds. This shows how opposing velocities affect the overall motion. In summary, this problem illustrates how vector addition and direction play an important role in motion. When two velocities act in opposite direction, we subtract one from other to find the resultant velocity. In this case, the person's upward motion is partly cancelled out by the downward movement of the escalator. As the result, the person moves upward at a slower speed and takes longer to reach the top. This principle can also be applied in real-life situations such as walking on moving sidewalks, swimming against a current, or flying an airplane with wind resistance. Understanding resultant velocity helps us predict and calculate actual motion when two different speeds act in opposite direction. Velocity is not just about how fast something moves. It also includes direction. That's why we represent velocity using arrows called vectors, where the length shows the speed and the arrowhead shows the direction. When we combine two or more velocity vectors, we use a method called vector addition, which helps us find a single velocity that represents the overall motion. In mathematics or physics, we can find the resultant velocity using the Pythagorean theorem or trigonometry when the direction form a right angle. But in general, it's about finding how all the individual movements combine to give one final motion. And that's the end of my presentation about resultant velocity. So as we've learned, resultant velocity helps us find the real direction and speed when two or more movements happen at the same time. It reminds us that motion isn't always simple. Sometimes we need to combine different directions to see where we're truly going. Like what Albert Einstein said, life is like a riding bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. Just like in physics, even if different forces push us in many directions, what matters most is that we keep moving forward. That's all for today's video. I hope you learned something. Thank you for your listening.